Good morning. Well, it's morning for us, everybody. This is my first interview, and I'm so excited to have my new friend, Colleen Karpf, here. She owns and is the creator of Journey Land and Soul. Met Colleen on a hike through Meetup. She leads holistic wellness experiences for women to grow in their physical, mental, and spiritual well being. And she is really a genius and brilliant at creating connections. And so
Thank you,
truly,
Gemma.
and no, I mean, really, I say that because I've been, since you guys know, I've moved here and I've been doing a lot of different things. And I've been probably on four, I'm kind of going off track here, been on four different sets of walks with different groups here around Austin. And Colleen's group is by far the most connective and the most mindful. You're the
Mhm.
only one that incorporates mindfulness and connection. So I wanted to talk to her about that a little bit about how and why she does that and the walks that we go on. These are walks for women, all different ages. It's always
Yep.
a mix of groups there. And so I wanted to talk about what have you noticed on these walks that you lead, and what has been what encourages women to create a sense of community and safety on these walks.
Yeah, absolutely, Gemma. I've been leading these hikes for 3 years, over 3 years now. And the one thing that continues to surprise me after every single hike is the connections that are formed. We welcome women from all ages, all backgrounds, all walks of life. And we are very proud of that. It's something that I mention at every hike and I
Hmm.
mention in all of the descriptions for the hike. And I think that really sets the tone and the intentionality so that women understand this isn't about conforming. It
Hmm.
isn't about fitting in or being part of a certain molds to partake. It's really about honoring our differences as women and coming together and understanding that even amidst all of these differences, there is a common thread that binds all of us. And by setting that tone from the beginning, the women walk in very differently than they might at an event that doesn't have that intentional
Hmm.
undertone of well being and connection.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I've noticed that. You're so when we meet, there's a couple things that you do, and so she's always there early, and of course we're in a beautiful outdoor setting. It's Austin. We're on the green belt, so what's not to love? And people get there and with their water bottles and kind of stand around. Sometimes that could be kind of an awkward stand around, but Colleen is already encouraging people to connect there. And so people are meeting and connecting, and then we walk down to sometimes wherever we start the hike, and then we go around, and you have us say usually a one word
That's right.
intention or
So the
say.
beginning of the hikes really set the stage.
Hmm.
And from the moment that women start arriving, oftentimes 15, 20 minutes early, there's conversation. And I always have topics, conversation questions to make sure that we're able to have, of course, the introductory conversations, but those that are also deeper. So I always bring us into the trail to start the hikes. And the reason for that is that we're off of the road. We're in
Hmm.
this more natural setting right away. And I share a little bit about why we're doing the hikes, that they're not just a hike, they're for women to explore their well being, for women to pause and reset in nature. And there's a strong connection component, not just to the women in the circle, which of course is important, but there's a reconnection to themselves. We always start with a moment of mindfulness to reconnect to our inner worlds and connection back to nature. And that is something that in today's busy world, many of us have lost connection with in day to day lives. We work in office buildings. We may not even get outside much throughout the day. So, really reconnecting with this natural environment that we all evolved in.
Hmm.
Um, and so, yes, every woman shares an intention for how they want to go through the next hour or 2 hours, depending how long that day's hike is. And it really allows us to have that shared way in which we're moving through the experience together.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed. when the nice thing about the one word, when you go around the circle and you may say, what's one word for your intention, or one thing that you're feeling or want to take from the hike today? And that gives me, since I've been on several of your hikes, a connection point. If somebody else said the same word or a similar word or a curious word, then as we kind of pair up, because you have us change partners as we're walking along the trail, which is also nice.
That's right.
Because yeah.
And there's always a theme that I see with the intentions. People get nervous to repeat words, and I actually really encourage it because it just goes to show that so many of us are looking to cultivate
Mhm.
similar
Mhm.
experiences in our day-to-day lives, similar emotional connection points. So a lot of words that pop up with some degree of regularity are presence.
Mhm.
Connection and community is a really big one.
Mhm.
Peace and calm is another theme.
Mhm.
Yeah, you see those.
Yeah, yeah. Why do you think you and I talked before about the kind of the repetition of walking, of just moving your body creates kind of a sense of safety for people?
Yeah, so when we're in nature, our body responds very differently than if we're in indoors, if we're in a restaurant, if we're at a bar, which are often other places that women are
Mhm.
socializing, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so when we're out in nature, nature actually helps regulate the body, right?
Mhm.
So it brings us into a regulated state where our nervous system is more calm.
Mhm.
We feel more relaxed. It often slows the production of cortisol and stress hormones. And
Mhm.
so we're in this more natural, relaxed setting, which makes connections much easier.
Mhm.
And then when you layer in movement, right,
Mhm.
now we have this shared experience.
Yeah.
We're walking side by side,
Yeah.
and it allows conversations to flow more easily
Mhm.
than when we're in a more formal setting,
Yeah.
which can feel um, almost more uh, confrontational if we're
Yeah.
sitting across from each other, almost interview style, right?
Yeah.
When we're walking side by side,
Yeah,
that
that's
kind of melts
true.
away,
That's true. I
Yeah.
was just thinking that. I thought it feels different to be looking, talking to someone about your day like this versus if you're walking along the trail and of course there are bikes passing us and dogs and
Yeah.
people, and
All
so
of
it
that
just
creates the
feels,
environment.
yeah.
And even the color green, when we're outdoors in the color
Mm,
green,
mm-hmm,
this is a very calming color for us
mm-hmm,
as humans. Our eyes pick up more shades of green than any other color
mm,
because it's where we evolved.
yeah.
So the smells, all of this helps calm us and just create a more organic environment for connecting.
Yeah. Well, I've loved it, and I appreciate what you have created for us, and the 3 years of doing it, that's a lot of that's a lot of meetup, that's a lot of mosquito spray. So I know, 'cause not all days are created, beautifully, but each one of the hikes I've done with you has been really nice. I've met a couple of good friends along the way. One that you saw at the Austin Yoga Festival. So if you guys saw the video just a couple days ago about the little montage of the yoga festival, Colleen was there and I was there with my friend Sarah that I met on the very first hike with you. So
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Yes, I appreciate you and taking time to do this interview. And I'm going to put a link your to your website, to your Facebook page, because Colleen is also a coach, and she's got a couple spots left on her trip to Peru
That's
in
right.
the fall.
That's right.
Yeah, so we'll promote that. If you guys want to learn more about her, she's a wonderful human being, and I appreciate you being here today. Yeah,
Thank you so
thanks
much,
for being my
Gemma.
first
I
interview.
loved being here.
Yes. All right.